disturbing search history.
The search was, can juveniles get the death penalty?
Day 3 of testimony in the Raleigh mass shooter's sentencing hearing provides major new details. We look into the evidence that appears to reveal motive for the shooting.
I'm tracking some much-needed rain for your Friday. Who could see scattered showers, plus the big warm-up on the way for next week.
Breaking news. I'm in the WRAL Live Center monitoring a Cary Town Council meeting. What we're learning about an audit of the town's finances.
Let's get started. Lots to talk about here at 7 o'clock, and we have to start with this moving in right now. Look, don't be fooled by the sunshine tomorrow morning, because by the evening commute, rain is in fact back in our forecast. And after that, so is the cold. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now. We're headed back below 20 degrees in some spots.
Oh, yeah, and even colder than that when you factor in the wind chill. One thing I want to note, we do need this rain. The new drought monitor came out today. Severe drought for our entire area. And, you know, we need any rain we can get, but we're not going to see a whole lot of it with the system that moves in tomorrow. Not a whole lot left out there on the dual Doppler 5000 today, but here comes our next cold front from the northwest. And during the morning hours tomorrow, things will be nice and quiet through lunchtime. I think the earliest we could see rain would be closer to about 3 o'clock in our northwestern cities, and we'll continue to see rain coverage grow into the evening commute. Rain still sticking around in some of our eastern cities by 8 p.m., but the rain will continue to push to the east after this, and we will dry out tomorrow night. Then comes the wind and the bitter cold to start the weekend. I'll walk you through the timing from single-digit wind chills back to the mid-60s coming up.
Thank you, Kat. Now to our big story tonight. A note. Plans to build bombs, internet search history, and a father's testimony. These are the major new details that came out in court today. A sentencing hearing that continues for Austin Thompson, the teenager who shot and killed 5 people in a Raleigh mass shooting in 2022. Now, this is the 3rd day of these hearings, and we have heard from a lot of people so far. Austin's mother took the stand, family and friends of the victims, detectives, forensic experts, and by listening to them, the central question that we are hoping to answer is why? Why did this happen? Today, we got about as close as we may ever get to finding an answer. Austin Thompson left a note in his bedroom after he killed his brother, James. A detective who worked the case read that entire note out loud in court today. We're going to play it for you now. Now, I will say we are not going to play the entire thing. We're not reading all of it here tonight. I mean, it is out there, that entire note. If you want to find it, it's very easy to find. But what we are going to focus on here tonight are the details that give us a better sense of why Austin did what he did. And I should say this is very intense, this topic. And I say that because I know many of you at home, you've written in and told us before that you watch the 7 o'clock news here with your families, with your kids in the room. So I did want to warn you about that. This is some difficult subject matter. With that said, here are a couple of clips from former RPD detective Sergeant William Tripp in court today.
The note reads, Austin, 4:25 p.m., 10/13/2022. The reason I did this is because I hate humans. They are destroying the planet/Earth. I don't have a goal. I'm not suicidal. Death is like sleep. That's why I don't care if I die. I have never been bullied or anything. Bye, Dad. I don't like you, Mom. I killed James because he would get in my way. I have no regrets. I'm not mental either. I was sane when I did this.
So when you hear all of that, you ask, how did nobody see him struggling like this? Austin's mom, she took the stand yesterday. She said that she never saw any red flags, that this was completely out of nowhere. And Austin's dad, he took the stand today, and he said the same thing. Here's a clip now from his remarks.
Still remains unknown to me why this tragedy occurred. We lost both of our sons in one afternoon. I cannot even begin to describe the pain we feel every day. We're just trying to do the best we can. I'm not sure I will ever be able to reconcile the boy I knew with the one that committed this crime. The boy I knew for 15 years would never have done this. The note he left behind doesn't make sense to me. None of it makes sense to me. I know he did it, but it's like it's two completely different people.
Does your knowledge of him now make it make sense?
No. I don't understand it. I mean, there were no signs. There were no signs, and that's the scary part. There were no signs at all. If there was, I mean, and I'd avoided them, I wouldn't be here today.
Now listen, they are not the only two people, his parents, without an answer here. You know, frankly, detectives can't really figure it out either, and they have tried. They spoke to his teachers, his neighbors, his classmates, and they all said the same thing. No signs, no red flags, no bullying, nothing like that. That said, detectives did uncover some things. So let's talk about that now. And let's start with something that they could not find: friends. When investigators set out to interview Austin's close friends, they had trouble finding any.
You said that you reached out and tried to speak to his friends. Tell us a little bit about that and what you were able to learn.
Well, if we were speaking to a teacher, the teacher may tell us, you know, a couple of children that interacted with Austin, and then we would try to talk to them as well. And they would just simply say they knew him, but they didn't know him well.
Were you provided any friends from people in the neighborhood that knew Austin well?
No.
So were you able to locate any real friends to talk to?
No, sir.
Investigators also found some more of Austin's notes, drawings of bombs and tripwires, lists of ingredients and instructions for bomb making. They were rolled up and stuffed into a hollowed out chapstick tube. They also found Austin's internet history, full of searches on violent incidents, violent people, school shootings, serial killers, violent events throughout history. He searched the internet for items to buy, to purchase, weapons, knives, gun parts, and ballistic shields. Here is another clip from Sergeant Tripp that really stands out.
Did he search famous people that used bombs and things?
Yes. Yeah, he searched the Unabomber, Eric Rudolph, things of that nature.
Did those searches stand out to you?
It did, because they were individuals who committed mass acts of violence and then hid in the woods, which is essentially what he did. He committed a mass act of violence, had a book bag ready to go, which appeared that he was prepared to be in the woods for an unknown amount of time.
And he's right. I know a lot of you remember the story. That shooting in 2022 ended in this standoff. This is some of the body camera video here with police. Austin was holed up in a shed in the woods. And still, after all of this, you might be asking, how could no one see this coming? Now, to better understand this, for the next part of the story, we're gonna have to leave the courtroom. You see, there are a mountain of studies out there that have looked into this sort of thing, from the U.S. Secret Service to the FBI to the DOJ, the Department of Education, and all of them show that most attackers do show some warning signs, especially teenagers. Even if those red flags are recognized in hindsight, they are often there. Teens, in fact, are the most likely to verbalize their plans, to appear or to post something online. But with Austin Thompson, investigators say they found no clear evidence of that. So from what I read through all of that, he kind of fits into another, smaller, rarer category. Someone who internalizes everything, hides what they're thinking and planning. According to the Secret Service, quote, attackers will engage in deceptive practices in order to hide their activities and avoid detection, maintaining their normal routine and not arousing any suspicion. They also found that most teenage shooters have multiple stressors. So in this case, someone with no friends. The shooting happened in 2022 after years of COVID and all that isolation. And the parents said today that they were going through a divorce, which they discussed with Austin and his brother. All that said, though, lots of kids go through that. The isolation from COVID, trouble making friends, a broken home. But they don't do this. I've been emailing back and forth with some of the authors of the studies that we talked about tonight. Let me know what you're curious about. What do you want to know? Email 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. I will ask them your questions. I'll be your voice here. Try to learn more about moments like this and the people who perpetrate these acts. That email again, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Tell us what's on your mind, and we'll discuss it here at 7 o'clock. Much more news ahead. Any minute, we expect to get the results of an investigation into Cary's former town manager. A town meeting is underway tonight. Brian Schrader is listening in to that from the Live Center. And 3 Durham school administrators face a judge. They face charges for how they handled an incident with a child tied to a chair. Plus, Kat is back. She'll have your full forecast. All of that coming up after the break.
Welcome back. This is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center, and we are following the Town of Cary meeting right now where council members are getting the results of an independent audit, and that audit found trouble right at the top under former town manager Sean Stiegel. They are hearing all of this as we speak. This is a live feed from that town council meeting, and in the last 30 minutes, the assistant town manager said that under Stiegel, he did not tell town council everything about the town of Cary's finances. Listen to this.
We are learning something very simple. Cary's former town manager shared incomplete information and/or different information with different people.
Cherry Beckert is the firm that conducted this independent audit, and they said that there was weakness in the town's internal controls because of the tone at the top under Stiegel. Of course, he is no longer the town manager there, and he's the subject of a criminal fraud investigation right now. WRAL's Kirsten Clark is there in the chambers. She will have an update on everything that happens coming up on our news tonight at 10 and 11.
All right, thank you for the update, Brian. Let's get you caught up on some of the other big headlines. These are the 5 things you should know right now. Investigators say a deputy shot and killed a man in Nash County. Officials say Christopher Erb got in a confrontation with deputies last night on Tom George Road. Erb's daughter was the one who called 911. Horrible what she saw. She said her father was holding a knife to her mother's throat. After more than an hour of negotiations, the sheriff says Erb raised an AR-style rifle and a deputy shot him. The FBI is currently investigating. The FBI is now investigating a Raleigh police officer. Tremel Cogdale is accused of sex crimes while on the job. RPD fired him a few months ago, and investigators say he pulled a woman over, then had sex with her in his home in exchange for not charging her with a DWI. The FBI is asking any other potential victims to come forward. Governor Stein signed an executive order bolstering the partnership between mental health professionals and law enforcement. One of the key goals of this is to give the state more leeway to involuntarily commit and treat people. He referenced the recent killings in Charlotte, Raleigh, and Southport that police say were committed by people with histories of mental illness. Nashville lifted its boil water advisory tonight after several days of problems there. The town blamed busted water pipes. Leaders handed out hundreds of cases of bottled water yesterday to help people have a safe water to drink and to use. Several places around our area have had water issues the past few days because of the weather. Some intersections in downtown Raleigh will be closed tonight for some water system repairs. The affected areas include South McDowell Street at West Hargett, South McDowell at West Martin, and West Martin at South Salisbury. Detours will be in place starting at 8 p.m. So this is a video here that you will only see on WRAL. 3 Durham public school administrators faced a judge on obstruction of justice charges today. Those charges, they stem from how prosecutors say they handled an incident at Eno Valley Elementary School where a child with autism was tied to a chair. WRAL's Monica Casey shows us the new lawsuit one of them is now facing.
A quick court appearance for an investigation going back over a year.
Good morning, Ms. Hunter. Good morning.
Tanya Giovanni, Aisha Hunter, and Tanya Wright face charges related to an incident at Eno Valley Elementary in November of 2024. That's when police say another person, an instructional assistant, tied up a 6-year-old girl with autism using a jump rope.
Ms. Wright, you're being charged with 3 counts of felony obstructing justice and 1 count of perjury. You are charged with 6 counts of felony obstruction of justice, and you're also charged with 2 counts of perjury. You are charged with 5 counts of felony obstruction of justice.
Prosecutors say those administrators provided inconsistent information during the investigation. Now the child's parent has filed a lawsuit. That suit says the student was tied up because she was humming and she came home with bruises on her stomach and hips that required medical treatment. That lawsuit names Wright, the woman who was accused of tying the child up, and the other adult in the classroom. Neither of those women have been charged criminally. The suit says the child has suffered severe physical, emotional, and psychological trauma. Wright has resigned from her role as principal. Giovanni and Hunter have been placed on leave. All three women charged have hired attorneys. They're all set to be back in court next month. Reporting in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
Today is National Weather Person Day, and I wanted to bring in a good question we got from a viewer about how our WRAL meteorologists put together their forecast. This is a question that came into the 7 p.m. inbox, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com, right before that snowstorm that we got hit by last weekend. But I think it's still relevant today. So Parker writes in and says, which weather models that you use are the most reliable? I am not the one to answer this question. You are. So, and I'm curious about this too. What's the answer?
Well, I've got you covered. In regards to last weekend's snowstorm, the best tool that we have, the best model that we have is the European model ensemble. So those are the maps that we show you that have the percent chance of 1 inch of snow or 3 inches of snow. And the reason why those are the best in these setups initially is because it takes 50 runs of the European model. It's going to change what goes into the model a little bit each time, and that accounts for the uncertainty in the atmosphere. That's my favorite. But as we get closer to the event, then there's a lot more questions that we have to ask. Is this going to be an event where there's sleet mixing in? Then we choose one high-res model. If not, sometimes the high-res model that updates every hour comes in. There are a lot of models that we look at, and most of them update at least 4 times a day. It just depends on the setup, and it's always important to know that with those models that we look at, especially for winter weather, we've got to look at them in 3D, while your phone app looks at them in 2D and tells you every time that it might snow that it's going to snow a foot. You know, we've got to take a closer look at the atmosphere. But the European model ensemble is the short answer to that question.
We are lucky to have you
because then you don't have to worry about it. Then, you know, people see the maps floating around on social media and they're like, is this model right? Is that? We just do the interpretations for you. Hopefully we make your life a little bit easier. All right, well, let's get into a forecast where I don't have to show you any of those snowfall models or the European model ensemble because we get a break from the winter storms this weekend. It is still going to be very cold though. 17 our low Sunday morning. 23 is the low tonight. The cold air is moving in. We've got a north wind, and that's pushing in all this cold air from up north. A weekend ahead with no snow icon, no ice icon. That's nice. Tomorrow we've got some rain, though. That'll come late in the afternoon into the early evening. It won't last very long, and it should be pretty light. Saturday, 39 and windy. It is going to be just a sharp wind out there. We're talking 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust. Sunday, 39 the high. So, needless to say, tomorrow would be a pretty good day to stay inside and watch the opening ceremony for the Winter Olympics here on WRAL. It's live at 2 o'clock. It'll be 46 and mostly cloudy. If you're holding off until after work for the rerun on prime time, we might have some rain around in our eastern counties. So, good night for it. Hour by hour, rain chances start to go up tomorrow to 3 o'clock. Our best chance really coming between about 4 and 7 p.m. tomorrow. If we take a look across the globe in Milan, they've had some rain around there today. You can see the thick cloud cover extending through really much of Italy. As for the snowfall forecast, we've got a new model in our box that we are using to show this data. It's running our in-house model, but in Italy. So we're looking at about an inch of snow in Cortina. This is where they're going to have the skiing and snowboarding and those kinds of events. For Milan, they are not expecting any snow through Sunday. A live look outside in Raleigh at Jimmy V's. Quiet out there, no more snow showing up or anything left over on the streets. 20 degrees, the low in Roxborough tonight, 22 Durham, 23 in Raleigh, and 24 in Fayetteville. It'll be chilly out there tonight. Kids, for the most part, heading back to school tomorrow. 8 a.m. 27, 10 a.m. 34, and then during the afternoon, we'll be in the mid to upper 40s for highs. But warm weather lovers, get ready for this. Your 7-day forecast shows some signs of hope on the horizon. While it's cold and windy this weekend, Monday, 54 and partly cloudy sounds pretty good. But check out Wednesday. High temperatures could warm into the low to mid 60s again by the middle of next week. Dan?
Can't wait. Thank you, Kat. Did you know that Morrisville doesn't have its own high school, but they're getting one in 2027? And today, Wake County announced the school's mascot. It's a nod to the town's history and its present. And it's tonight's One Last Thing. One last thing tonight. Morrisville is getting its own high school. And today, Wake County, they announced what their mascot will be. They posted this video here showing the school's colors, orange and dark green, and showing their logo, which is an M on the front of a train. So the school's mascot, or the nickname, will be the Trailblazers, and it's a callback to Morrisville's history as a railroad town. And today, our DU Airport is right there in the town's backyard. We also got an early look at what the high school will look like. It'll be over on Little Drive and Davis Drive near Parkside Elementary. The school is scheduled to open for the 2027 school year. And there's nothing like a brand new school. That area needs it. Boy, has it been growing like so many other parts of the Triangle have been. Good for them. It'll be exciting to see what happens there. Thank you for making WRAL your choice for local news. Keep reaching out to that email, 7 p.m. at WRAL.com. Tell us what's on your mind. We'll talk about it during this newscast. Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.